on this special edition of Cronkite News.
I'm Emily Fox-Millian at the Arizona State Capitol. A family's loss led to a statewide alert system, and it's already saving lives.
And I'm Macy Markham in Colorado City, Arizona. Find out how the second largest measles outbreak in the United States is affecting one Arizona town.
Plus, I'm Kayla McDonald here with our Cronkite News weather team. We've been following the development of a brand new scale that categorizes a specific type of storm here in Phoenix.
All that and more on Cronkite News across Arizona. Welcome and thanks for joining me on this special edition of Cronkite News. I'm Charlie Vicario. We begin with a story that we've been tracking for months, a story that brought us about 2 hours east of Phoenix to Peridot, Arizona, where tragedy has placed legislation for the entire state into focus. Behind each missing person alert is a family waiting for answers. And in Arizona, that's far too common for Indigenous people. Now Cronkite News reporter Emily Fox-Millian speaks to one family whose tragedy turned into action.
Emily Pike was just 14 years old when she went missing from a group home in Mesa. Nearly 2 weeks later, and 75 miles away, here on East 60 near Globe, her remains were left in trash bags. 9 months later, investigators still have not found her killer.
She was thrown to the wayside like she was trash, like she didn't matter. But she did matter. She does matter.
Allred Pike Jr. says his niece, Emily, still matters.
And we weren't able to save her. So now she's out there doing what we couldn't. She's saving people. She's raising awareness.
When Emily went missing, no alert went out because many missing people, including some teens and adults, don't qualify for existing alerts. Until now, Emily's family pushed lawmakers to close the gap. In May 2025, Arizona passed Emily's Law, creating the Turquoise Alert System. It went live just 2 months later in July.
The Turquoise Alert System is a system used for missing and endangered persons that are under the age of 65. So essentially people that fall outside that Amber Alert or our Safe Alert.
It's not only for Indigenous people. It goes out for people under 65 whose disappearance is suspicious and they may be in danger. And it only goes out after law enforcement has exhausted local resources.
And the whole reason that the Turquoise Alert System is working is because there were people that fell through a loophole. They didn't fit the criteria for the Amber Alert or for other alerts. And so the Turquoise Alert makes a huge difference.
Community advocates like Mary Kim Titla say that Emily's story is part of a much larger pattern, one that demands attention and action.
With this system, so many families can at least have some hope that their loved one will be found.
Since its July launch, the Department of Public Safety issued 3 turquoise alerts. All 3 missing people have been found safe.
It has been proven to be very successful in locating endangered and vulnerable, marginalized population.
In Emily's hometown of Peridot, Arizona, Allred says that Emily's still making a difference.
We just pray that it does make a difference and that law does save kids or missing Indigenous people.
The Turquoise Alert can't bring Emily back, but her family believes it can bring other missing people home and protect those that would fall through the cracks.
She's making a difference, and we just need to catch this person or these persons so they won't do it again. We can at least do that. We owe her that.
Emily Fox-Millian, Cronkite News.
The FBI is offering up to $75,000 for information identifying who was responsible for Emily Pike's disappearance and murder. Now up north, our Macy Markham traveled to the border of Arizona and Utah to see how a measles outbreak that has affected over 100 individuals impacts the community as a whole.
At the beginning of the season, I didn't even honestly think we'd have a football team.
Riley Barlow, a junior at El Capitan High School.
I play at center and D-end and middle linebacker.
Uncertain he would even get to play this year.
I feel very rewarded to even have one this year.
His team played just 4 games before their season was canceled.
A lot of them were tired and beat up and kind of injured just from not just the capacity of how big our team was, just kind of the circumstance that we were in.
Circumstances that axed the biggest game of the season, a rivalry with nearby Water Canyon High School in Hilldale, Utah.
It was due to our current situation with the measles.
This street marks the dividing line between Hilldale, Utah and Colorado City, Arizona. But the border never really meant division for the two towns. They make up the community of Short Creek and share a history of rigid religious control. Now, both towns grappling with a new shared crisis, the second largest measles outbreak in the United States.
Colorado City now has more than 100 recorded measles cases.
Because very few are immunized. They just don't trust the government. They don't trust the immunizations.
Rebecca Bradshaw grew up in Colorado City and knows firsthand the divide over vaccines.
Half of my grandchildren, they're half vaccinated and half are not.
In fact, most kindergartners in Colorado City are not vaccinated. In a class of 39 students, state records show 85% have a personal belief exemption.
I really don't believe it's as religious as it is just them saying, I'm free here, I want to be free and make my own choice what I feel is best for my children.
I don't know that they're anti-vaxxers, but they were cautious about vaccinations.
Colorado City Mayor Howard Ream acknowledging a community confronting a troubled past when the fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints controlled nearly every aspect of residents' lives. You can still see remnants from that time, walls blocking off massive compounds on the edge of town.
We seem to really continue to dig up the past, which is not part of our story today.
In 2011, former leader and polygamist prophet Warren Jeffs sentenced to life in prison on multiple charges.
I too moved away for a period of time, and when I moved back, the reason why I moved back is because the town had changed.
Mayor Ream says Colorado City is ready to move on.
We're about, having growth that is reasonable and protecting our families. I mean, that's why we're here.
You want to move forward?
Yeah, we want to move forward.
A theme echoed by Short Creek residents.
It's changing for the better.
But moving forward means tackling their latest obstacle, the outbreak.
We have weathered a pretty tough storm, but we've come out stronger on the other end.
Enjoy every moment as it is. You don't know how long it's going to last, how long it's going to be.
In Short Creek, Macy Markham, Cronkite News.
There are important stories in every city across Arizona, and one road connects many of them. The Main Street of America, or the Mother Road, as famed American author John Steinbeck coined in Grapes of Wrath, Route 66 dates back to 1926, which means it's about to be 100 years old. Wow, stretching from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California. The highway covers around 2,400 miles, and right here, State 48 boasts the longest preserved stretch of it, just shy of 400 miles, from Lupton to Kingman. It's one of the many cool pieces of history in AZ. When we come back, find out how Arizona businesses are leaning into innovation to thrive in some seriously unique ways.
It's a normal farm, but we use the third dimension. We grow up.
Stay tuned for more after the break.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. The ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
I grew up in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
Welcome back from the break. Arizonans are many things. I think there's something about the desert that forces many to have an innovative and adaptive spirit. And in Arizona's heat, innovation isn't just about progress, it's about survival. From recycling fabrics to reimagining solar energy and indoor vertical farming. Local companies are proving that sustainability can thrive in the harshest conditions. Cronkite News reporter Caress Melanie takes us across the valley to see how Arizonans are turning the desert green.
Inside a warehouse in Gilbert, boxes are stacked and filled with colors, satin, lace, and cotton. Here, every garment tells a story. This is the Bra Recyclers, a company that's turning waste into hope.
Our model was so built on that need first, and then we use textile recycling to help us fulfill that need.
Elaine Brooks-Mitchell founded the Bra Recyclers in 2008, inspired by the idea that even something as small as a bra can make a big difference.
Unfortunately, many bras will end up in the waste because of all the parts and pieces with the wires and the hooks. It's not an easy item to recycle.
The National Library of Medicine reports that the textile industry is the world's second largest polluter, producing over 8 billion tons of greenhouse gases each year.
These items that might go to the landfill are going to be going to someone in need.
Sustainability here isn't just about waste, it's about human connection.
Our main goal is that need to help other families and individuals with something as simple, as a bra.
Each month, the Bra Recyclers sort through 20,000 bras, giving a new life to something that would have ended up in a landfill. And while they aren't recycling here beyond silicon, they are finding ways to make solar panels more efficient and a solar system cheaper for customers. In a Tempe facility gleaming with reflective panels and wires, innovators are redefining how Arizonans harness the sun. The lab runs like a futuristic workshop, and the future is solar in Arizona, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. The sun powers about 13% of the state's total electricity.
They have two solar cells connecting series, but it looks like just the one solar cell, except it's more efficient.
Sizing solar energy continues to be a challenge as companies work to make high-tech systems more cost-effective. Beyond Silicon's goal is also to reduce carbon dioxide emission rates to a single digit in their lab.
Water impact is also a big driver here at 1.1 Vertical Farm, where they use 99% less water to grow crops compared to your traditional farm.
Inside a cool, glowing room filled with stacked greens, technology, and agriculture meet, 1.1 Vertical Farm grows produce without soil, using recirculated water and artificial light.
Essentially, it's a normal farm, but we use the third dimension. We grow up. We're inside of a warehouse in Avondale, Arizona. We've completely enclosed the system so that really limits the ability for pests and disease to get inside.
Each plant is monitored by a new kind of farmer.
So Fred's on one and Novak's on the other. So these robots are typically used to move the plants around the facility.
Part of the reason we can use far less water than a traditional farm is because we recirculate the water every time we irrigate.
Food here is grown in the city, bringing fresh produce closer to homes with less environmental impact. All three of these companies prove the idea that scarcity can be a great motivation for innovation. In a greener Arizona, Caress Melanie, Cronkite News.
And there are other innovators doing good all over the state. One thing Arizona is known for is dust storms. While some seem relatively harmless, others can cause serious damage. Our Cronkite News weather team has more on the brand new system being developed in the valley to rank the strength of these natural disasters in Arizona.
Thanks, Charlie. Right now, there's a ton of hard work and research happening to make the Phoenix dust scale a reality. And the coolest part is that it's being led entirely by meteorologists here in Arizona.
Yeah, one of the leaders on the project is the chief meteorologist at ABC 15, and she wants to keep people safe and informed.
At a very basic level, we all know that if there's a scale of 1 to 5,
5's the worst, right? So just knowing that people could have that in the back of their heads, and for us to be able to say, hey, conditions are looking favorable to have a big dust storm today.
When we met with Amber Sullins at the ABC 15 station, her message was clear. She says these dust storms can be super dangerous, and you definitely should not underestimate them.
No matter what, here's what you need to do. You need to pull off the road, you need to put your car in park, turn off the lights, all the dust storm safety tips to get people through the storm.
We also met up with meteorologist and ASU professor Ryan Heinzman, another key contributor to the project. He's working out the best ways to measure how intense the storms are. They look at a lot of factors, including how much land is covered, how long it lasted, wind speed, and the most important is how dense or thick the dust gets.
The primary classification scheme is based off of concentration of dust, so PM10. So each of the 5 major categories is broken up based on thousands of micrograms per cubic meter of dust. So you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
Hopefully the Phoenix dust scale can become a tool that many in Arizona can use to understand how serious these storms are. With Erica Hoyt and Edward Neiman, I'm Kayla McDonald. Back to you, Charlie.
That sounds pretty cool. As of right now, the Phoenix dust scale is in its testing phase, but it saw a lot of success during the 2025 monsoon season.
Yeah, it hits you. Like, man, what could I have done? Did I do something wrong? Did I not see something? Did I not go far enough?
When we come back, I got out in the field myself to explore the ranches of Pine Top, Arizona, and the complex wildlife issues the community faces.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Arizona is also home to a massive variety of wildlife, as you'll see in the next 2 stories. Sometimes the lives of these animals collide with our own, for better or for worse. The Mexican gray wolf is no longer considered an endangered species in most of the United States, according to a decision this month from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. But that decision carved out parts of Arizona and New Mexico. Now, this area has more than 280 wild wolves that are still protected. I went on a hunt, of sorts, for wolves in eastern Arizona.
The high desert of Arizona is a pretty good place to roam, both for domestic animals and some who walk more on the wild side. In fact, after years of struggling on the endangered species list, conservation work helped pull the wolves back from extinction.
We have an increase in population every single year. So we're trying to get
to the 320 mark for the wolves.
But not everyone in Arizona welcomes its return.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions people might have is people's fear of wolves. Movies and culture have really shown that wolves are these terrifying animals that are out to get you, right?
As Mexican wolves move into areas like this one, they're hunting a new kind of prey, cattle. A single loss of the animal right behind me could cost a rancher up to thousands of dollars. Richard Kaufman covers hundreds of miles of rangeland on 4 wheels.
Some of it's a lot of just driving around and looking at the cattle and looking at our maps and making sure nothing's messing with them at the moment. So,
as a range rider, he's keeping an eye on the 4-legged animals, both predator and prey, making sure the wolves don't get too close.
a lot of times I'll come through here and there'll be cattle laying down and I'm like, oh heck. So you just stare at them and then you see an ear twitch. Okay, that one's good. All those look good. There's some back out further that I like to take a look at.
But he relies on more than just his eyes. With technology like satellite GPS collars, Kaufman tracks wolf movement across northeastern Arizona. And when his radio starts to beep, it's time to act fast.
And you start hearing that beep, it's a oh heck kind of moment. And then we can actually pinpoint, okay, they're over on the reservation. We don't have to worry about it. Or the cattle are there, but they're over here.
Kaufman is one of 2 range riders with eyes on cattle and wolves, a duo trained and outfitted by the Arizona Game and Fish Department.
That are here year-round, and that's a huge help because depredations don't just come in the summer, they don't just come in the fall, they come whenever there's wolves and cattle in the same area.
Every year, new wolves are tracked and tagged in an effort to protect them and their prey. Kaufman is focused mainly on protecting cattle and the livelihood they provide. They've had a lot of success, but he can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, it hits you. Like, man, what could I have done? Did I do something wrong? Did I not see something? Did I not go far enough?
On the day we were out riding, we didn't see any wolves, but we got a glimpse of a way of life that Kaufman is happy to protect. And even if he doesn't hear a lot of appreciation from these guys, hearing from their owners is enough to keep him riding the range.
And for them to say, thank you, we appreciate what you do, that makes you feel good.
These wolf babysitters do carry some power. They use a technique called hazing, where they use rubber bullets and cracker shells to scare the predators away. Plenty of sports involve animals. You might be imagining a rodeo or horse racing, but how about pigeon racing? Many racers now fear their tradition is facing extinction. Cronkite sports reporter Grace Johnson shows us the intricate world of pigeon racing.
They may look like average street birds, but these are actually winged athletes with strict training schedules.
You've got to get them in shape.
Special diets.
Oregano oil, garlic oil, and then I put something else on it like brewer's yeast.
And impeccable stamina.
When you hold the wing like this, the wing doesn't go that far out past the tail.
The sport of pigeon racing has been around for centuries. Bird trainers like Dennis Branham and Jim Kornick hand-pick special breeds of pigeons that are best suited for long races and are always able to find their way home.
I'm not in it for the money. I just love the birds. I love their ability to get home. It just fascinates me.
Branham has been racing for years.
Over 50.
He's part of one club here in the valley keeping the sport alive and training these birds to all fly home.
This is basically the dinner bell for the pigeons. They come on down, they land, and after a long day of training, they got to refuel because they'll have flights up for 600 miles long, and they'll have corn and grain to fuel them, where they can encounter anything from eagles to running into wires.
They have magnetite in their brain, so they can sense longitude and latitude. And they've got a very, very, very keen sense of time.
On the night before a race, a truck visits each club to pick up the birds, drive them to a starting location which could be hundreds of miles away, and release.
Then we break the seal on that and break the seal over here, and then at the exact time they'll go down and flip everything open.
The race begins as the birds make their way home, each with its own tag and electronic chip. And once they return, the bird with the fastest average speed is calculated and declared the winner.
I call my pigeons my pot of gold.
Racers get their birds from pigeon breeders like Lee Erke, who track different bloodlines to breed champions.
So essentially, I can take the bloodlines and take the performing birds and then pair them up with the most likely hen, the cock with the most likely hen that will produce.
Over time, a strong bond forms between pigeons and caretakers, making the first launch difficult.
It's like releasing your child, you know, and you're releasing them to someone you're hoping that will take care of them like you would.
Even when Branham wrestled with medical issues that caused memory loss, his pigeons were always there for him.
I said to my wife, let's get rid of the birds. The doctor said, you make him keep those birds. They tied me to my roots, because there's still to this day memories that I don't have. The birds have fostered memories. They helped me put my life back together.
Despite these cherished bonds, the sport is struggling with less interest from a younger generation.
It's dying. The sport is kind of diminishing.
Just as his pigeons saved him, Branham hopes he can do the same for them and their racing tradition.
Here they come.
Grace Johnson, Cronkite News.
There are so many incredible stories in each community that call State 48 home. For all of our reporters, I'm Charlie Vicario. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Cronkite News Across Arizona.